Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be ranking all of the new movies that I saw in the month of November. Once again, I was kind of slacking this month. I only saw 6 new movies. I saw one that released on Netflix, one that released on HBO Max, and then 4 that came out in theaters. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this ranking. But as per usual, I am going to go ahead and go over the couple of big movies that I missed. For one, I believe the movie Anora had its wide release in the month of November. I did not get the opportunity to see it. That would have unfortunately been a road trip movie for me. I would have had to go to a movie theater that's about an hour away, and I didn't have the chance to do that. But I've heard really good things, and as soon as I get the opportunity, I will be watching that movie. And then the next one, I missed Heretic. I was really excited about that movie. It's the Hugh Grant A24 horror movie that came out this month. That movie looked like it, was testing, kind of doing a meta commentary on like faith and how like it could really like be a make or break thing, and how you really got to be careful what you believe in. But that being said, I did not get to see either of those 2 movies, and I am very bummed out about it. But time to get into the 6 movies that I did see. Alrighty, and coming in dead last place, we have the movie Red One, and I watched this movie exactly as it was intended, on a very sketchy live stream on TikTok. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I could not justify going out and buying a movie ticket and going and sitting in a theater watching this film after figuring out that they spent $250 million on this movie, and $50 million of that, that's right, 1/5 of that budget, went directly into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's pockets. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And I think that no actor should ever be paid that amount of money ever, unless it is something like a big franchise movie and the person is tried and trusted. Red One is the first movie of this whatever series it is. I don't even think they're trying to make a cinematic universe or anything with that. So why on earth was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson paid $50 million for this movie? I will never get it. I don't think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is as big of a movie star as people think he is. Yeah, this movie was very, very painful to sit through. I will say this. J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus, interesting casting. I really actually liked the couple of things that he got to do in this movie. I also think that Kiernan Shipka as a villain was also very entertaining. I am a huge fan of Kiernan Shipka. I'll watch literally anything that she's in. But this movie overall just reminded me of how massive of a casting problem we have in Hollywood right now. Chris Evans, I love him to death. This character would have been so much better suited for like an actor like maybe Steven Yeun or literally almost anybody else. Like, this movie failed miserably at their casting aspects. I feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character could have been played a lot more interesting if they got more of a traditional action star, somebody who's been doing very serious action movies. I feel like part of this movie's like charm that they were going for is just like, we got a big action star to do a silly little Christmas movie, and that big action star is Dwayne Johnson, who does little like silly movies like this literally all the time. So for the most part, I thought this movie was very uninteresting. I think that it wasn't very entertaining, and for the most part, the comedy, not great. The action, it has a couple of moments, but it's all ultimately very, very forgettable. I did not like this movie. Coming in 5th place, I will try to keep it very brief with this movie. This is a movie called Hot Frosty. Came out on Netflix. It is a silly little Christmas rom-com. And the premise for this movie, for people who did not see it, was what if a snowman came to life and he was hot? And the movie goes about as well as you think it would. It has a little bit of that like Hallmark charm that you would expect from like a Christmas love story. It's not necessarily terrible. Like, there are definitely moments in here that were actually pretty funny, and for the most part, I think that with as ridiculous of a concept as this was, it works. It was very cheeky. It was very like Christmassy, and I do think that there were elements of it that were entertaining and made it worth watching. But that being said, this is not my type of movie, so I kind of set myself up for failure watching this one. I liked it about as much as I possibly could, but at the end of the day, this movie's just not for me. Alrighty, and coming in 4th place, we have Moana 2. I'm still planning on making a full-length breakdown of this movie because personally, I like this movie for the most part. I think that the third act is incredible. I think that the character development that they give Moana and that they give Maui in this movie is fantastic. But for the most part, a lot of the side characters in this movie felt relatively unnecessary. I feel like there's a couple of decisions that they made in the second act that are really weird. And I kind of noticed something that I'm going to probably save for my full-length review of this movie. But as far as sequels go, this movie is so insanely formulaic. It's pretty much every beat you would expect a sequel in a movie to make. The third act, there's one like really like emotional scene that's like, oh my god, what is gonna happen? And then they do the most cliche thing ever. And there's just a lot of moments like this throughout the movie where the first 15 minutes, they're just rehashing everything that happened in the first movie and like literally shoving it in your face. Hey, this is what we did last time in case you didn't get a chance to see it. And I feel like when the movie is as popular as the first Moana movie is, you don't need to do that. We know what happened in the first movie. That's why we came to see the second one. But that being said, a lot of nitpicky things like that. I still think that the third act was pretty good, and as much as people have been critiquing it online, I think that the majority of the music is relatively decent. But one of my big problems with the music is there's a song that so clearly is trying to rip off How Far I'll Go, and there's a song that is so clearly trying to rip off Shiny, and then there's a song that is so clearly trying to rip off You're Welcome. And I think that that is where this movie kind of falls apart for me. If you were to make a flowchart of the original Moana movie and a flowchart of this movie and hit every major plot point, they will be exactly the same. And I think that that is kind of where this movie lost me a little bit. It is entertaining, but at the end of the day, it's essentially Moana 1. They pretty much did nothing new in this one, and that does really suck. Alrighty, and starting off our top 3, we have Gladiator 2. I did really enjoy this movie. I think for the most part, the action lived up to the hype, in my opinion. I think that Pedro Pascal is absolutely incredible in the limited screen time he has here. I think that overall, all of the acting performances here are pretty solid. Denzel Washington has so much gravitas to him. He feels just like a legendary actor on screen. I feel like anytime you get to see him in a movie, it's excellent. And for the most part, I'm going to say something, and this is probably not a great idea. I don't understand all of the hype about the original Gladiator movie. I think that this is one of those things where it's just like, for the most part, that movie lives up well, right? I think that everything holds up. The action is pretty good in it. Russell Crowe's acting is obviously still incredible. But there are slideshow like style transitions in that movie, and anytime I see a movie that has that, it takes me out of the movie a little bit. So in my opinion, Gladiator 2, I don't hold it as like near and dear to my heart as a lot of other people do. So when I saw Gladiator 2, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was just as epic as the first one. I didn't think that this is like a massive downgrade from the first one. I definitely see a lot of parts where it like literally feels like they're stealing the story from the first one, but like they just give us so many epic action sequences. I feel like Pedro Pascal versus Paul Mescal's character in this movie is absolutely fantastic. I think that the entire naval battle that they do is so glorious. This entire sequence with the rhino, like, it's just epic. It's hard to deny that this movie is just ridiculously fun on all cylinders. Obviously, the story misses a lot of really key moments that I feel like probably would have made it a little bit better. I feel like they killed off Paul Mescal's wife in a really dumb way, and I think that the fact that they did it absolutely immediately kind of takes away a lot of that emotional connections we could have potentially had there. And there's just a lot of small little nitpicky things like that throughout this movie. Overall, I had a good time with it. I just think that it's not as great as the next couple on this list. Alrighty, and coming in second place, this one surprised me. This is a movie called Sweethearts. It's on HBO Max, and I honestly might need to make a full review of this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I think that Caleb Heron's character, I probably just butchered his name. I am so sorry. But I think that his character in this movie probably should have been the main character of this movie. But because of how great his arc was, and because of the entire story that they do with his character, and the way that they do a really good job of showing representation for a specific group of people, is absolutely fantastic. And I absolutely love the fact that this movie seems like it's going to be a very cliche kind of rom-com. Like, there's a lot of the tropes that you would expect. There's a lot of secondhand embarrassment, which happens a lot in like these high school / college aged movies. I think that the music in here is part of the reason I like this movie so much. They're basically playing my playlist in this movie. Like, there's the song Girls by The Dare. There's the song Sour Patch Kids by Bryce Vine. Like, every single song that came on in this movie, I was like, I fucking love this song. And like, I think that that's part of the reason why I personally like this movie a lot. Once again, Kiernan Shipka is in this movie, and I absolutely love her to death. She's the kind of actress where, like, they can make, like, an hour-and-a-half long movie that is her doing an interpretive dance pretending to be one of those wavy and inflatable little wacky arm dudes from car dealerships, and I would watch that full thing. Like, she's awesome. I absolutely love her to death. I think that her chemistry with this main actor, Nico, I can't remember his last name right now, absolutely fantastic. I think that they did a really good job bringing a lot of like chemistry to this movie. Like, I feel like for the most part they are best friends, but you can feel some of these like subtle undertones throughout the movie. And then when they make the final reveal of like what they're going to do moving forward, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I think that it was a really great way to kind of like flip your expectations a little bit. Like, I knew going into the movie that that was how it was going to end because that was spoiled for me. But if you didn't, I feel like there was definitely like, that was kind of a shocking scene, especially the way that they built it up. I loved this movie. I think that it's a good one to go into blind. And if you're a fan of rom-coms, totally recommend it. I think that the comedy in this one is one of the best that I've seen in the last couple of years. But now, coming in first place, without a shadow of the doubt, we have the movie Wicked. I have not made a full-length review of this movie because I was terrified to tell you guys that I was not that big of a fan. But that being said, I've been thinking about it more. I've been watching more videos about it. I've been having discussions with people about it. And I will say, I do think I like this movie a lot more than I initially did stepping out of the theater. I feel like one of my main problems that I have with this movie is one that a lot of Broadway fans are having, which is this movie is based off of just the first act of Wicked or whatever, or like the first half, because it's weird because it's like it's the first act, but it's actually like the first two acts, but like they just call it act one because the intermission, and then there's act two. But either way, this is just, you know, the first half of Wicked, and Wicked itself is a 2.5-hour musical, and they made the first act of it a 2.5-hour movie. So there are some moments here and there where like the pacing is a little bit off, and like almost every single one of the songs is like 10 minutes long, and like I like it. I think that the music is fantastic. I think that the choreography is absolutely incredible. The colors are so vivid. I think that their depiction of Oz is absolutely beautiful. The bullet train, the fact that they actually planted like over 2 million tulips or something like that for this movie is incredible. And I just think that overall, both of the lead actresses are phenomenal in this. Cynthia Erivo is going to become a household name because of this movie, and I think that it's well deserved. Ariana Grande kind of proved to a lot of people that she is an actress as well. I feel like a lot of people thought that she was like stunt casting. Like a lot of people were like, Ariana Grande in a movie, in an actual big musical? Like that's ridiculous. Why would they do that? For one, her vocal range is absolutely insane. Oh my god. Like in the song No One Mourns the Wicked, oh my god, you know what I mean? It's so good. Her voice is absolutely incredible, and just her acting in this is phenomenal. She's able to play such a nuanced, layered character, and it's beautiful. I think that both of them do an incredible job of showcasing how emotional and how like how deep the characters are. I don't know, I said depth and I immediately froze because I was like, what am I saying? But like both of these characters have so much like internal conflict, and it's something that's like really hard to like display in a movie, and they do such a brilliant job. Like the acting performances here are both absolutely incredible. I think that both of them are more than likely going to be nominated for leading actress and supporting actress for Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande respectively, and I think that they both have a really decent shot at it. Like obviously I have not seen Anora. I think a lot of people are saying that Mikey Madison has a really good chance of winning the best leading actress for that one. But that being said, Cynthia Erivo killed this role. She absolutely did incredible. And then I don't think any of these songs were original songs, so I don't think they could actually get an Oscar nomination for any of the songs for this movie, which is really interesting because like it's a musical, so you'd expect them to be able to, but I don't think they necessarily can. I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. But yeah, overall, absolutely love this movie. I think it is incredible. All of the casting decisions are perfect. Jeff Goldblum as the wizard is so good. Michelle Yeoh, I just butchered her name. Michelle Yeoh? No, that's okay. Yep, I'm blanking on the names. I'm so sorry right now. Michelle Yeoh. Was I right the first time? Hold up, sorry. But that actress, absolutely incredible. Jonathan Bailey. Oh my god. The second he stepped on screen, I was like, okay, yep, I'm locked in. This movie's incredible. This movie's so good. It's gonna be so good. And it is. It's genuinely phenomenal. But yeah, that being said, that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. If you guys want to stay tuned, subscribe for more content. I am going to be making a Moana 2 full-length review. I'm going to be making a Wicked full-length review. And I might potentially make a Sweethearts full-length review because I really enjoyed that movie. And I really like the way that they had so much like great representation for queer people. And I absolutely love that movie. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching. And if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Pow.